Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa back from vacation, and thank you, Mother Nature, for giving us something to talk about this week. It is a snowstorm, and there will still be some changes, but things have solidified quite a bit. I would say any changes now will be probably on the order of maybe one, maybe two counties difference as the storm progresses. And of course, 1 to 2 counties can be significant because we're talking about southeast and southern lower Michigan getting the heaviest part of a snowstorm in Michigan. And it still looks like it's trending, just inching southward is still the possibility. All right, so let's get into it. First, hey, let's just say hi to a few folks. Amanda Leandro, hey, good morning. Thanks for watching. Rob Guizdala, good morning. And Jesse Lyles, good morning. Also Robert Counselor. So here we go. This is the MLive morning weather update. I was off last week. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Hit the share button if you could, and give me and all meteorology and all weather forecasts. Continue to monitor it for the next couple of days because there will still be some tweaks. So let's get into it here. All right. So first off, a winter storm watch has been issued for the blue shaded counties, and this gives you a real good feel. Hey, good morning, Veronica Horn, and good morning, Tracy Hart from Battle Creek. Kelly wants to do the anti-snow dance. So the winter storm watch is in effect from 2 a.m. Wednesday, so overnight Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, all the way through 11 p.m. Thursday, and that is one of the big features of this weather system. It's a long duration, light to moderate snow. When you see the snow totals, I want to emphasize that that's not going to be by Wednesday evening. That's not going to be by Thursday morning. That's going to be by late Thursday evening from the time it starts Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So winter storm watch just south of Grand Rapids. You're not in the winter storm watch. Lansing in the winter storm watch, Flint in the winter storm watch, Sanilac County, and all points southward. Let's get into it. First off, just a touch of a discussion. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Just a touch of discussion on the models and what I'm going to show you. So we look at the European model, obviously. We look at the GFS, that's the US model. Tomorrow, we'll start to look at what's probably the best model when we get into snow. Well, the second best model, the NAM, North American model. That's a U.S. model, a NOAA or National Weather Service model. And then eventually we get to look at the high-resolution rapid refresh model. That only goes out a short time. So we're going to be looking at various models. And what's key here is I think we need to look at the ensemble of the models, and I'm going to show you that. And what that is the European is run in a setting that they feel would be the most likely setting or the best set of conditions. And then they run, I think, about 50 different little tweaks of it, and they average those. And that's a real good way to do it at this time, this far out. Remember, the jet energy that's going to make this storm is still out in the Pacific. All right, so let's start with, I'm getting back, so I'm a little brain foggy too. Let's see, so we're going to start here with the European model, okay? And this is last night's run. We don't have a new run just yet. And so we're going to start with this. So today, A-OK on the travel. This is through this afternoon and this evening. This is tomorrow. Tomorrow's a mild day, and rain starts up. So rain starts up tomorrow evening, and then by Wednesday morning has pretty well transitioned to snow, except for maybe in the far south. And remember, this is a long duration weather system. So the first wave comes through Wednesday. This is Wednesday afternoon. And you can see where the darker blue is. That pretty much right there defines a line of what I think you would call a snowstorm here in Michigan, from Kalamazoo to Lansing to Flint, south and east. North of that, I'd think you'd say, no, this isn't really a snowstorm at this time of the year, middle of winter. So this is wave number 1 into Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be very treacherous driving in the southeast. And then we go to Thursday. This is Thursday morning, and here comes wave number 2, probably the stronger of the 2 waves. This is Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, but it is further to the south, and that makes perfect sense. What typically happens on these 2-wave storm systems is the front is moving southeast in the dead of winter because the cold air has strength over the warm air to the southeast. So the front is sinking southeast. The waves are riding along it. The first wave is farther northwest. The second wave is farther to the south and east. Usually the second or third wave is the strongest. And so here we are with the second wave coming through. And again, this is Thursday night. And then by Friday morning, it's all over with. All right. So we're going to start with, I'm going to show you some numbers, okay? Remember, still room for tweaking. This is used as a guide right now just to show you where you get the heaviest. And I would take everything down by about 2 inches just based on what I know that models seem to over forecast snow. That's hard to say, isn't it? Okay, so this is the European Ensemble mode. And I like this. This is the latest, okay? And I like this. It may be a couple of inches too high in the far southeast, but it gives you a good feel for where you'll get 8 to 10, maybe. And this is the dilemma of the meteorologist. As soon as we mention 12 inches, we're going to get a foot of snow. No, that's probably the top end in a few isolated locations. Remember, take 2 off of that. You got yourself a good solid 8 to 10 inch snow probably in the southeastern part of lower Michigan. Back to this on the European. This is the Ensemble mode. And, so you're probably looking at 8 to 10 in Detroit and Ann Arbor and Jackson and Monroe. And then you go 6 to 10 through the Lansing area and part of the southern part of the thumb, maybe Kalamazoo, 6 to 8, and then it tapers off quickly. In Grand Rapids, you're 3 to 5, and Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, 3 to 5, with the emphasis that is a 48-hour snowfall. Wednesday morning to Thursday night, 36-hour snowfall. How does that sound? Let's look at some other models. Okay, this is the earlier run of that same thing. So we can kind of compare these two. This is the European Ensemble 6 hours earlier and latest. Earlier and latest. And you could see that very similar. Okay, now this is the US model latest. And it has been all along heavier in the heaviest band. People have been seeing this 20-inch thing. And as it's been shifted north into Michigan, people are saying, 20 inches of snow? 20 inches is, I'll tell you what, 20 inches is very, very hard to do, and not in this kind of setting. Because to get 20 inches, you'd have to have heavy snow for 24 hours. And for that, you need a closed low-pressure system kind of circulating around itself and slowing down and swinging the moisture back over an area. Much like what they had out on the Atlantic. That was a monster storm, and they had a hard time getting over 20 inches. This is 2 waves that move through, 3 to 6 and 3 to 6, 6 to 12, and more on the 6 7, 8, and isolated on the 12. Very isolated, and the farther south and east you go. So this is the latest on the US model, and the difference here is that it tapers off the snow one county quicker to the north and west, and I do like that because that typically does happen. All right, so in other words, it's much lighter on Grand Rapids, it's much lighter on Saginaw, it's lighter on Flint. There will be a strip on the northwest side where I feel like it will be over forecast by a lot of places because the band of heavier snow will be too wide by just about one county in Michigan. So there's not much room for error there. Barbie Thompson, how much for Flint Town? I'm going to say Flint is probably 3 to 5 inches, but somewhere in there, and it can continue to shade down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to try one last thing, see if I can make it big enough for you to see it. Bear with me just a second. Yeah, I think this will be worth your while. This is a comparison of all the models. All right, so you can just get a feel for the consistency. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are first going to look at let's see here. I set this up actually at 4:30 in the morning, so I got to remember. Macomb County, you're going to be in the thick of it. So you're looking at least 6, probably 8 to 10. And I don't want to mention that 12-inch number, but it's possible, but not extremely likely. I think we'll focus on 10, 11 as being some of the top end there. All right, so we are looking at get these. Okay. All right. So we're looking at yesterday morning's GFS US model totals right there. Okay. Yesterday morning. Now, 6 hours later, and you don't see a whole lot of change. You just see some higher amounts off of Lake Erie. And then yesterday evening, and again, very similar. So these are 3 runs in a row. Very similar, just little shifts by about a county and some fine tuning, and that's what we'll be dealing with. Let's see. Nikki Tutt wants to ask, how about Kalamazoo? You're on the edge. You're probably 5 to 7. Have to drive from Portage to Portage from GR. Cheryl Smith, if it's today, yeah, should be fine. Okay, and then let's look at the European. This is not the ensemble mode of the European, but so US model, European. US model, European. Kind of sound like an eye doctor. Better here or better there? Better here or better there? And then you get to the point where you go, I don't know. So again, all shaping up for a southeast lower Michigan snowstorm. Not a snowstorm for Grand Rapids, not a snowstorm for Saginaw Bay City, more than likely. Flint, Kalamazoo, you're on the verge of calling it a snowstorm. And then a snowstorm for Detroit, the entire Detroit area, the entire Ann Arbor area, down through Monroe, down into northern Ohio, down into northern Indiana, Coldwater, and Jackson as well. All right, let's see if we can take some questions. Now, I want to emphasize, thanks for sticking with me. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa on the morning weather update. We are going to definitely update this through the day today, through the day tomorrow. There will be tweakings, and I would say that it's going to be noon Tuesday before I would say we're going to be down to the inch or so. And that's how far meteorology has come. You got to admit, the East Coast snowstorms have been nailed this year. The modelers continue to tweak all this stuff, and we'll see how this one plays out. But we've been talking about this one, and you've been talking about it for 3 or 4 days now. that wave, that ripple in the atmosphere is probably over Russia or China at that time. So let's go back to the map that I like right now. We're not going to emphasize a whole lot on the exact amount. Okay. But we'll take some questions here. How much for Berrien County? Cindy Payne wants to know. Berrien County, boy, you're on the edge of it. You're probably 5 to 7 inches. John Fitzsimmons, Mark, always wondered with all the different models, how do you know which one to trust the most? That is a very good question. Each model has its strengths and weaknesses. What we trust is when 3 or 4 models say about the same thing. We're getting there. It's just the fine details down to the inch of snow. Does this place get 8 inches or 9 inches or 10 inches? And in my mind, who cares? 8 inches of big snow, 10 inches of big snow. 8 inches versus 16 inches, a lot different. But when you get up to that, and 10 inches or 12 inches, who cares? 10 inches and 12, both the same thing. So how do you know? A lot of experience watching them all the time, seeing which ones have certain strengths and weaknesses. The GFS tends to be fast, tends to be cold, so snow bands can be displaced to the south and east. European tends to be very good, tends to maybe not be, tends to overdo the snow amounts early. In fact, all models do. Okay, let's see. Hey, good morning, Jim Guire from Punta Gorda. We just left there yesterday morning around there. Placida, Rotunda West, to be exact. How about Langsberg, Carla? And that's probably, you're in the solid 6-inch plus. Cassie Miller, Ubley, the tip of the thumb. Oh, let me get it back for you here. Sorry. Tip of the thumb, Ubley, you're probably 3 to 5 inches. Caseville, you're probably 3 to 5, also probably on the lower side. Ann Arbor, Friday morning, Frank Davis, it will be over, after you've had 8, 10 inches of snow. Roads won't be perfect, but it will be over by then. Jesse wants the high end of the snow amounts to Carol. What about Coldwater? Robert Young, Coldwater is right in the heart of the northern edge of the heaviest band. So Coldwater, you're probably looking at, it should be at least 8, probably 9, maybe 10, maybe a little bit more than that. Seago, Allegan area, Tammy Lempier. And again, I want to emphasize, we can never win on this as meteorologists. We can never win. I want to emphasize this is a preliminary, I don't want to call it a really fairly early guess because all of the models are very similar, but it still could shift 2 counties. It still could take Detroit from a 10-inch to a 6-inch snow. It's solidifying pretty good, so I don't think that will happen. It might go from 10-inch snow forecast in Detroit to a 7 or 8. So that's the kind of tweaking we're dealing with right now. So what do you think about John McCormick? What do you think about Mount Pleasant? Not much in Mount Pleasant, maybe 1 to 3 inches or so. Ross Ewell, Sault Ste. Marie, not even in this storm system. Brooklyn, Gail Smith, you're at least 7 to maybe up to 9. Leah Horn, Saginaw, probably 3 or 4 inches, something like that. Midland, 2 or 3 inches. Let's see. Monroe, Pamela Sparks, you're right in the thick of it. Monroe will have the heaviest of anywhere in Michigan, and so you're probably looking at 10 inches, and it could be a few inches more. Yep, Martin Stevens and Monroe, get ready for a couple of days of snowy weather. Branch County, you are in the thick of it too, with 8 to 10 inches. Susan Streeter, Lansing, a good question. It's kind of on the verge of the heaviest, graduating through the taper off. I would say Lansing is probably 5 to 7 inches. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should go backwards. I just thought about this after 32 years of doing this. I just had a little light bulb go off. Maybe I should do the ranges backwards. Lansing 7 to 5 inches. So you remember the low end and you don't focus exactly on the high end. Waterford, Oakland County, you should be 6, 7, 8 inches of snow, something like that. Northport, Huron area, a couple of inches. Veronica Horn, traveling to Lansing on Friday morning. How will travel be? Should I leave Thursday night and spend the night? Well, Thursday night, the storm system could still be going. So Friday morning or Thursday night, Friday morning, you're lesser of two evils. After 10 inches, well, you know, I know where Veronica lives, Frankenmuth. I think a lot of people know that Ken Horn is from the Frankenmuth area. You know, better to travel on roads after the storm has ended, but they certainly won't be perfect in this kind of storm system. What are the expected temperatures south of Flint, Wayne Lynch? This is going to be a 28, 30 degree type snow, so it will have a little meat to it. How much snow for Jackson? Jackson, you're right in the heaviest also. All right, so we got all kinds of crazy stuff going on to our girls' household. We've just arrived back, and we haven't seen the grandkids in a couple of days. So we're getting the call, we're getting the video calls, we're getting all that stuff. So I'm getting excited. Not only do I have a snow system to watch with you, I get grandkids to see that I haven't in a couple of days or so. All right, so there is the update for now. Please, if you could, please bear with us in meteorology. Bear with me on MLive. I'll give you updates as I can. We've got a good start. You know, the storm system. How can it change if it changes? Two things, I think. It could shift one county south and east, maybe two counties. And that would be a significant change for places like Lansing, Kalamazoo, Flint. Be a significant change for everywhere. It would take everything down 2 or 3 inches from what I showed. And then that would be the second change, is that the amounts could come down an inch or two. But point being is, travel on Wednesday, not encouraged across the southeast third of the state. Wednesday night, no way. Thursday, no way. Gonna be pretty nasty. Long duration, light to moderate snow. Not the kind of heavy snow where you can't see where you're going, but long duration, light to moderate snow. And then Friday, the roads will be as good as the road crews do. And, you know, we got to cut them some slack. After 6, 8, 10 inches of snow, the roads aren't instantly better that day. It does look like a touch warmer weather on the weekend, so maybe we get back to seeing the pavement on the interstates, something like that. Thanks for joining me. We'll continue to keep you updated. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and please hit the share button for those wondering about the snowstorm heading towards southeast Michigan. I think we can call it a snowstorm.